Hey there everybody. So today I wanted to do a video on a pile of records that I have next to me. And I know typically in my videos I say a little music review on each of the albums and I give you the prices of the albums. But for this video today I'm not going to be doing that because these are albums that pretty much everybody has in their collection. And I'll be going through them relatively fast. I also want to say that at the end of the video I'm going to show you something pretty outrageous, so please stick around for that. It's a really rare LP and I need to show you that. But for now, I'm going to start with this one, first of all. This is an album by Thin Lizzy entitled Nightlife. And I've always been a big fan of the cover art in the front there. I think that cover art is really, really fantastic. On the back, you have a picture of the band. And it also includes an inner sleeve with a buyer's bulletin, warning buyers not to buy bootlegs. And it tells you all about how to detect a bootleg. And this pressing is actually on Vertigo. And I'll go ahead and take it out of the sleeve so you can see here. As you can see, it has the spaceship label there with the Vertigo swirl. And yeah, it's a really great pressing. It sounds fantastic. It sounds brand new. And if you can believe it, I actually got this for $1 at a Goodwill. Definitely a really good Goodwill find, especially for such a brilliant album. And I really like to put it on when I feel like I really need to chill out for a little bit. Thin Lizzy is really good chill out music indeed. But yeah, that's Thin Lizzy's Nightlife. Really cool one to have in the collection. Moving on to another Thin Lizzy. This is Bad Reputation. Again, I got it for $1. And this pressing is on Mercury. On the back you have a picture of the band there. And it has the original custom inner sleeve, which is a really nice thing to have. And yeah, it's really cool that I actually found this for $1. I mean, it's a record that is obviously not too expensive, but it is the original press, and finding it on original press, it can't be a lot more than $1. It'll be like $15, $20. So it's a really cool thing to have found it for so cheap. Moving on to something very rare, actually. This is Thin Lizzy's Fighting. This is actually a United States pressing, but oddly enough, it's on Vertigo, which is kind of weird because I know Vertigo is like a foreign label. Up here you have the Vertigo swirl here. And the reason why I say that this one is rare is because this particular one is actually a promo copy. It comes again with the buyer's bulletin warning with the bootlegging. And I'll go ahead and take out the record because I think you guys really need to see this. On the label itself, it says promotional copy not for sale. But yeah, I was really excited when I actually saw this because a promo copy of this on eBay is currently up. And that promo copy is on sale for around $90, and that's the only one that's up for sale. And so it's just, it's really crazy that I found a promotional copy of Thin Lizzy's Fighting on Vertigo. It's just really crazy, and I'm really happy to have that in my collection. So, yeah, that's the last Thin Lizzy for today, and I'm going to move on to a different band called the Knack. Now, this album takes me back to about 1994, because when I was 4 years old, a track on here called My Sharona was actually my first introduction to music. And I used to run around as a kid listening to that track, and I was always just really, really fond of that song. And this is the original press on Capitol. It actually has the Rainbow Capitol label on it. And yeah, it's just an album that's really near and dear to my heart. Even though it's not an expensive album, it's one that's kind of priceless to me because of its nostalgic value. Okay, moving on to a different group. This is an album that I'm sure everybody knows, Machine Head by Deep Purple, on the back. And then it is a gatefold as well. And this one is actually a green label Warner Brothers pressing of the album. And I actually found this for $8 a couple years ago now. But yeah, it has really cool songs on here like Highway Star, Maybe I'm a Leo, of course Smoke on the Water, and Lazy. I'm really, really fond of the track Lazy on here, so really cool album indeed. Moving on to an Australian band, this one is AC/DC. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Now, I'm not a fan too much anyway of the um, after Bon Scott era of the band with Brian Johnson. Um, Not that Brian Johnson is a bad singer, and I'm not trying to say that. I don't listen to any um, ACDC from Brian Johnson, but you just can't compare to Bon Scott. You know, he was just such a fantastic singer. But apart from that, back in these days, you know, ACDC were coming from a little bit more of a punky sort of side. And yeah, I'm really happy to have this one. I found this one for about $6. So that was a cool one to add to the collection. Has some of my favorite tracks on there. So next up is another band. This is probably the most essential $1 find that you'll ever make in your life. Very typically, you find Boston's first album in a dollar bin, and you can usually find it for a pretty good condition as far as the sleeve goes. Sometimes you find it with really gnarly ring wear, but for the most part, it's in good condition. That one is on an orange Epic label, as you can see there. But yeah, everybody knows that album, so I definitely don't want to spend too much time on it. And I'm going to move on to their second LP, which has really cool artwork if you open up the gatefold. It's those little small things, really, that, you know, you'll never be able to tell that this artwork is this huge if you just have the MP3 of it. It's just really cool. It's like one of those little treats for the people that actually buy the album. And on the inside of the gatefold, you have pictures of the band as well as some information as well. And also, it has the original inner sleeve there, as you can see. And so, yeah, it's a really good album. Boston's first three albums are definitely their best, I would say. And speaking of their third LP, this is The Third Stage by Boston. Again, this is a gatefold with the longer artwork, as you can see there. Inside the gatefold is right here. And this pressing is also on MCA Records is what it's on. And it has the original custom inner sleeve here with lyrics on the back. And yeah, pretty cool album as well. I also found this for $1. I found the first three Boston records for $1 each, but it's their later discography that's a lot more expensive, funny enough. But yeah, moving on to another album. This is Led Zeppelin's The Song Remains the Same. If you can believe this, I actually found this for $1. It has a little bit of ring wear, but it wasn't good enough condition to pick up, really. And on top of that, you never see Led Zeppelin in a $1 bin, so I kind of had to have it. I'm usually not a dollar bin person, but when you find Led Zeppelin in a dollar bin, it's really hard to say no, even though it does have a little bit of ring wear to it. Of course, it does have the booklet inside here, if I can get a grip on it. And it has various photos of the band there as well. And so yeah. I'm not usually a fan of live albums as well, but like I said, finding Led Zeppelin in a $1 bin, that's not something you leave behind. But speaking of Led Zeppelin, we've come to the last record that I'm going to show you today, and like I said, it's an outrageous album. I found this recently in a record store. I was in the record store, and I brought a receiver with me, a receiver that was just collecting dust in the corner over there. And so what I wanted to do was trade it in for a record. And I traded it for this. This is Led Zeppelin, of course, the Untitled, or if you want to call it Led Zeppelin 4, whatever you want to call it, everybody knows this album. But the special thing about it, which I'm sure it's obvious by now, is that this is a Japanese pressing of the album. Now, it's not the original Japanese pressing of the album, but it is a 1977 pressing on Atlantic. And I gotta tell you guys, I nearly had a heart attack when I found this because being from Southern California, you very rarely see Japanese presses on sale here. It's not something you commonly come across, but even when you do, it ends up being albums that aren't really good. They'll be like disco albums or something like that. Now, the fantastic thing about this, besides the fact that it's in such good condition, is that this album is complete. Absolutely complete. It even has the advertisement here with albums from Deep Purple, Yes, Led Zeppelin's 3, 2, and 1, Houses of the Holy, Presence, yeah, you name it. Really cool advertisement there. Of course, if you also have your Japanese press, it should come with the lyric insert sheets with Japanese lyrics on the back, and on the front you have the English translations there. It also has a custom inner sleeve here. You can see Stairway to Heaven lyrics here, and a track listing on the back here. And as I said, this is a pressing on Atlantic, and the label is really, really good on this one. The vinyl on this is absolutely gorgeous. It kind of looks unplayed, to be quite honest with you. It doesn't even have the surface scratches on it. And when I played it, it sounded so clean. Just really, really good. I can't believe I found this. It was on sale at the record store for $40, and I traded the receiver for it. But I was absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe it. I went home and I found this on Discogs for $40, but that one is actually not complete because it doesn't have the obi. And of course, if you run into collectors of Japanese vinyl, having the obi is pretty damn important, at least in my eyes. Certainly for me, I don't really want a Japanese press if it doesn't have the obi, unless it's like a white label promo or something like that. But yeah, I really do need albums to be complete because I'm an album completist, and I'll go crazy if it doesn't have like the poster or something like that. So, but yeah, Led Zeppelin 4, Japanese press, 1977. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. You don't usually see that every day, so that's definitely one of the more outrageous pickups that I have made in recent times. But anyways, that is all I'm going to show for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed. At the moment, I'm actually working on a introduction video, a remake of my introduction video that is a lot more impressive than the one I currently have up right now. And so be on the lookout for that because it's actually almost done. And I will catch you guys all later, and goodbye.